Hey there, Landon Beum again with the Griffith Home Team, and today I'm joined by Ramen. Ramen is also another teammate of mine with the Griffith Home Team, and we're going to talk all about new builds, new construction, and the like. So before we get into it, Ramen, why don't you just give us the rundown of who you are, your experience, and what you do?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Real estate, been with the Griffith Home Team since 2012. Real estate, I've been doing real estate since 2009. So almost a little over 15 years if you think about it. But I've been in real estate with my family for well over that. So we've been around that for a very long time. New construction I was the new construction king for a very long time.
It's your bread and butter. That's kind of what you're known for on the team. Hence,
100%.
You probably weren't surprised when I sent the outline today. It's like, we got to talk about it. And I obviously do a lot of new construction. There's just so much new construction in Colorado.
Absolutely.
Which is why people are probably tuning in on this episode, is because they want to learn more about it and what makes it tick and if it's right for them. And so, all throughout the north side of Denver, the south side of Denver, Colorado Springs, I mean, there's new construction happening in about every city. And so there's a lot of growth in Colorado. And that's why we're going to talk about it, because people are wondering, okay, do I buy a new house?
Absolutely.
Do I buy an old house? What do I do here? So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Sure.
Before we get into the actual segments of the podcast, I always like to tease the Houses of Horrors segment, where each of us just kind of go through a nightmare experience that we've had in the industry. And so quick teaser is, when I was buying a new construction house myself, my third-party inspector found that the electric panel was not grounded in the inspection phase. So, and it sounds like you have many stories.
Stories.
Yeah. We'll hit a lot of those
I'll
today,
give you a small tease. It starts at the beginning. And that's how crucial it is when you buy a new build.
So by beginning,
when it comes down to digging the dirt out.
So it's still a dirt lot.
We'll chat. I'm no engineer, but I've been around for a while, where you see a few things, and I have a lot of great contacts
that is something
that have taught me.
I bet nobody is thinking that they need to have someone involved that early on.
Big time.
Love it. Okay, well, let's just get into the first part here. So buying a new home versus buying a resale home, or a home that's older, that's been owned and lived in by other people.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
So there's so many caveats to it. Number one, location, right? There's certain areas where new builds are not happening.
Yep.
Okay. That's where the supply and demand comes in. So there's certain neighborhoods down north. Like, let's talk about Boulder. Let's talk about Louisville, Lafayette. We had an unfortunate situation with the Marshall Fire. So now there's a lot of new construction that's happening. Yeah. But with new construction, there also comes certain things and things to look for, right? I also sell a lot of resale too, but new builds are probably the number one angle that a lot of first-time home buyers get to enjoy. One of the cons for a resale is, right now we have high interest rates. New builds are offering some insane incentives.
Insane.
So let's say you have a buyer that's looking at a $500,000 house. Their qualifications X, their down payment's Y, and you're looking at a home that's $500,000. Okay, I can probably take you to a new construction home, get that home that is $620,000. Yes, taxes are a little higher, HOAs are a little higher. The payment's almost going to be the same as that resale $500,000 home.
$120,000 extra buying power.
Crazy, right? Yeah. And new construction, the rule of thumb with new builds is those do appreciate. I have learned that I've made more money when I have always purchased new construction homes. You always want to catch it either at the beginning or towards the end. Okay.
Interesting. Of the community development.
Of the community development.
Yeah. Okay.
And as realtors, we're busy, we're running around, but I'm looking at developments that are happening 5 years down the road. And I keep that in my back pocket, knowing what's going in. Now, consumers come to you and they're like, well, if we're going to go do a new build, we don't need your help. Right. Yeah. So here's another pro. Okay. How do they really know what they're getting? What's happening? What the longevity of this construction process is going to be? What kind of builder it is? What kind of quality is coming? There's a lot of great builders. Okay. You may have a great experience with one that I did not, and vice versa. Okay. It all comes down to the construction trades, the managers who actually get it to the finish line.
Yep.
And in today's market, we're rushing. So quality is going to be one thing. On a resale home, okay, you're buying the home, and we truly do not know, as a buyer's agent or a buyer, what comes with that territory.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that some of these sellers, especially during COVID, they were buying homes, not doing inspections, waiving all their rights, and they bought the home because it was a deal. There's 30 offers coming in, multiple offers, whatever, over asking price. Now they're selling, right? I've had a situation this past weekend. Beautiful home. Okay, $2 million. That's a pretty big price point. That's a big investment. Okay. And
And
these
they bought
guys
it during COVID.
Oh yeah, they bought it during COVID. They bought it for 2.5 million.
Oh dear.
They're at 2,050,000 right now.
Oh my.
And it's been on the market for 300 days. What does that mean?
Yeah.
When you and I look at it, we're like, that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Or what consumers say, what's wrong
What's
with
wrong
it?
with it? There's got to be
100%.
something wrong.
So we can only do so much. We can provide information. We can go around the house. We show them what we see. But at the end of the day, they have to get an inspection.
Yeah.
They have to do a full, thorough inspection. They're counting on that for us to help them get through it. And guess what? Sometimes we may still not catch it.
Yeah.
Right? So our
An
job,
older home is just by nature going to have,
It's
you know,
like
home
buying
built in
a-
the 80s,
yeah.
90s, 2000s. There's just
100%.
things that happen. Homes
Yeah.
degrade over time.
So that brings me to the next thing. We did our inspections. They spent about $1,000. Okay. It gets expensive these days. Sewer scopes, foundation, everything. They wanted the whole kit and caboodle.
It's probably a pretty good sized home too at that price
Big,
point. So
big.
the standard inspection itself is probably 800.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was there was some movement going on. Okay. I'm no engineer, but unfortunately, I've had situations where I have bought homes that had foundation issues.
Yeah.
New builds offer warranties.
Yeah.
Okay. You have an opportunity to see the soils test report. Those are huge. A lot of realtors, we're not engineers, but it's nice to request certain things and being able to go through and say, okay, you're going to have a 10-year warranty, a 6-year warranty, or 5-year, whatever it is on the foundation. That's 5 years to 10 years of peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Yep.
Whereas you bought something and then all of a sudden you're having issues. That's all, you're in the dark.
It's on
now.
you.
It's all on you.
It's on
You
you.
just never know.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe property insurance can get involved somewhat on that, but I don't know if property insurance is going to touch foundation issues like
Right.
that. And if it does, you're still going to get
100%.
I mean, it's going to cost $100K.
Yep. Oh, big time.
At the minimum.
And the other thing is that I think differently when it comes to resale and new construction. On resale, you're buying that home at the top of the market.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have to start over on gaining value. Everything gains value. Real estate is the number one thing that you can invest in and make a lot of money in. Bottom line, it'll change your life.
Yeah.
But why
Long-term
not?
holds.
But why not work smart? Sometimes, right? I love resale homes. I'm looking at places in Boulder that are 50 to 100 years old. Okay. I'm going against my normal norm. But at the end of the day, when I go look at something that's 20 minutes away, it's brand new. It's like that new car smell. There's just no replacement for that. I just built my new home after the Marshall Fire. I actually bought a new home. I went to Toll Brothers. It was a big, scary thing. And I got to see what my clients went through. Okay. So as a consumer, I was like, okay, what are the pros? You got the warranties. You got the quality. You get to pick what you want. You get to have every little thing that you desire. Now, it's not always perfect, but
you don't get to always customize the floor plan in every nook and cranny, but you get a lot more customization.
But it was such a fantastic experience to go through that.
Toll Brothers is nice too.
And they're great. Richmond, I've worked with Richmond, Lennar, you know, there's a lot of great builders out there. Epic, you know, Meritage, they're all there. They're all building a home, right? It just comes down to what works for you. So I learned when I was trying to shop for resale, I was like, I got to fix this. I got to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm paying for the location. Yeah. Sometimes it's worth it. Now, there's some resale homes that have been immaculately maintained.
Yes.
And I love them.
Are brand new, freshly renovated, and it
100%.
Done very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
And those are the homes that I like to have my clients to go through. Even in today's market, as things are kind of going into a correction phase, those are the ones that they're gone instantly.
Those are the ones that are moving. Yep. Buyers right now with the low affordability want the turnkey.
100%.
Which is why a lot of buyers right now are attracted to the new build, because
100%.
There's nothing more turnkey than a home that was built and finished a week ago.
100%. And then let's talk about down payment.
Yeah.
How nice is it when someone is offering you 10 or 15 grand to pay your closing costs? Love that. Okay. Yeah. Or if they're buying your rate down on top of that.
Yeah.
You
don't even have to negotiate it right now. With the new builders, they're already doing it. They're already offering it as just the incentive to get you in the door. Whereas on the resale, you got to go and put it in an offer and try to negotiate for it.
And it comes, it's an emotional process for buyers. And I always like to say, hey, this is now going to be a business decision until we get past certain things. Then you can start really, truly falling in love with it.
Yeah.
We had one client yesterday. She's been looking for a home for a while, worked with several other realtors, and she saw me out on the field with my clients in the dirt, going through situations. She's like, what are you doing? Do you work here? And I was like, no, we're just checking out a few things.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need your card. I was like, weird. Okay. Gave her my card. Never expected a call from her.
Yeah.
Okay. So she called me yesterday and she was looking at a house. She's been going back and forth with this builder for, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year, roughly. Didn't sign anything with the realtor. And she's like, most of my realtors said, hey, why don't you go down, find the house you want, call me, and we'll talk about it. She's like, no one was truly helping me understand what this is.
Yep.
So that was exciting. And even on resale, it's fun. You go out and I'm running around while they're in the house. I'm checking out all kinds of mechanicals, right? Like, let's talk about how
siding on the outside. You can get an angle of what the roof looks like from certain bedrooms.
Big time.
Yeah.
Electrical panel. That's huge on some of these older homes, you know, like you see a few things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. New builds, it's like buying a new car. You're going to get all the warranties. It's going to have all the bells and whistles. It's going to be fresh to code to that current year. Resale, there's nothing wrong with them. I think resale homes are awesome too. But there's going to be some labor of love that you will eventually put into it.
And you need to just be a little bit more skeptical and make sure that you
do your due diligence.
Yeah, do your due diligence on the information, the documentation that the sellers provide, the inspection that you receive. You got to
ask questions.
Ask questions. Yeah. What is the age of the roof? You said you didn't know, but are you sure you really don't know? Like,
well, it's crazy because we're trusted. We're acting in good faith. New builds are the same way. At the end of the day, the new build is going to be represented by that seller. We are a different consumer. They don't represent us. They don't care at the end of the day. They do care to a point to get it to the closing table and help your client out. But that's where you have to step in and really help.
Yeah, they're not going to hold.
Big time.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple things that I want to break down in deeper detail that I think are super, super valuable for people that are going to be watching this. And the first part is the incentives.
Big time.
So, right now we've talked about it. There's a lot of incentives going on in the resale world as well. There's a lot of sellers that are dropping their price, offering concessions. Hey, we'll pay your closing costs. We'll give you concessions for a rate buy down. But this is like a given right now in the new build realm. So much so that even our in-house lenders won't even touch it, won't even give it a shot because they know that the incentives being offered right now
they just can't come close.
Good. Yeah, they can't come close. I mean, we're talking that the builders and the lenders that they're in-house for them are throwing so much money at the consumers that they're buying 30-year fixed conventional rate down from 6.5% down to 4 or 3.99.
Big time. And on top of that, there's different incentives involved with different builders. So if you go to a certain community, so one I was working a different angle on, it was a $1.4 million house. And I will use an example on something that's in the lower end price points as well. That house was sitting on the market for over a year. One under construction, one under permits. I've been watching it. My client's been watching it.
Wow.
So that builder's like, we're offering a 4.95 locked rate.
Yeah.
It's like, that's great.
30-year fixed.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to do appliances. Usually they don't do that.
Yeah.
Most builders don't do landscape. Nothing. They're just like, this is it.
We'll landscape the front and the back.
Well, they usually don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Right? They don't.
But in this situation, they are.
They didn't even want that. They just wanted, they were having such a struggle. I think they caught the market at the wrong time. Great neighborhood, meaning walking distance to schools, shopping, everything. It's a great pocket. Okay.
Yeah.
There's truly nothing wrong with that house. It's just they caught it at the wrong time. The builder did.
Yeah.
Okay. And the market. It's just been an interesting correction for 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're throwing everything.
They're trying.
Yeah.
And there's days where you go in and you're like, I'm going to kick the tires with this. It's like buying a car. I do not like being hounded by a salesman. I am do my research, know what I want. And I go sit down and I'm like, here is my offer.
Yeah.
You have 45 minutes to get me out the door.
Nice.
My mom laughs at me. Our teammate, Dustin and Chad, you're like, no way. You got out of there within an hour. I'm like, 45 minutes. It was done. And they're like, they took it? And I was like, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But that's how it is with new builds. You got to be able to understand that there's value. So that particular buyer, we ended up offering $200,000 below. I asked for everything else in between.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're crazy. This isn't going to happen. But I'm like, go see how many I've sold. Not even my team. We sell a lot as a team, but I'm like,
me personally,
just personally. Now imagine if everyone else catches on to it, you might be able to move 5 or 6 of these properties and you guys are going to be in the green instead of the red. So there are opportunities, but there are also times where you have to catch them at the right time. Beginning of the year, probably not so hot.
Yeah.
Okay. Third and fourth quarter, they're trying to hit their quotas.
Yep.
That's a given, right? And it's hard because most buyers want to be in and done before the holidays or the end of the year. They're like, we just want to be settled.
Yeah, we don't want to be buying something in the middle of this.
It's wintertime.
And that's when we bought our Meritage home that we live in right now.
100%.
2024, or sorry, it's 2023 at the time. November, it was actually Thanksgiving weekend. It was the day after. It was Black Friday when we locked it in.
That's awesome.
And they were ending the quarter and they gave us a crazy incentive. Like they doubled everything and we're like, oh yeah.
Done. You can't say no.
Yeah,
right?
we can't. We couldn't.
Biggest feedback that I get is I have kids, like families that have children. Okay. They're like, well, our kids are going to be enrolled in schools. Like, how do we walk around? How do we like kind of pivot around this? And I was like, that's That's a valid question to ask.
Mhm.
And certain people will be looking in certain neighborhoods that are already enrolled for that school district. That's an insane time to go buy stuff. Like, yeah, there might be 2 feet of snow. We get those weird March snowstorms. That's when I was moving in.
Yeah.
Like the moving truck got stuck in the snow, but I got a killer deal.
You gotta pull the trigger on these
Big
new
time.
builds at the inconvenient
Right.
times, because that's when other people aren't pulling the trigger on it, and that's when the builders need to shed their inventory quickly.
Yep. And, like 2022, 2023 have been really hard times in general because the market was so hot. Everyone was just buying stuff. There was no negotiations. It's like take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Now it's like individuals who are also buying in new builds. You have to understand this is not, I'm going to make 100 grand tomorrow. You got to keep it. And my rule is a minimum 5-year hold.
Yeah.
Now things happen, life changes, jobs, whatever. Okay. But that's when you start seeing it pay off for you. Okay. So it's like, okay, I got a low rate. How do I do this? Most of my consumers, you're like, how do I move out of my house when I have a 3% interest rate? When we bought new with you, like, what do we do? It's like, you got to get over that fear because you may not get that low rate now, but you're going to get that house.
Yeah.
And it's going to pretty much level out and be the same.
The house is going to be worth it. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
So
people that are needing to upgrade or downgrade, or, they just need to be in a new city, new place with a new job. Like there are deals to be had that will accommodate. Sure, you're in a 3% rate right now. These new builds, there are deals that will make it worth your while. It might not be 3%, right? Maybe 3.99 though. Maybe
Still
4 or 5,
that's
maybe
fantastic.
5.
I think anything at 5 and below right now is like a fantastic opportunity. Like you should not shy away from that. 7%, different conversation.
Sure. And that's where the resale market is in the 6s and low 7s. But and it's not just so there's a lot of buyers right now. When I meet them, I try to figure out, what are your pain points? Are you monthly payment conscious? Or are you cash on hand conscious? Maybe it's a first-time home buyer that is just scraping by to just get that 3% down to purchase a home.
Right.
But they have the income to qualify for a $650,000 home, but they just barely have the income enough needed to get that. Well, let's negotiate for more concessions from this builder to get all of your closing costs paid off. Right. And guess what? They're also going to buy down your rate too.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's where that second part comes in, where, hey, maybe they're monthly payment conscious. They're really concerned about the interest rates that are out there. They can't really afford a monthly payment in the 6.5% interest rate range. Well, let's look at new builds at the same price point that you're looking at, or even a little bit more expensive than the resale homes, because they are going to buy your rate down permanently and accommodate that for you.
And that's the moving target that we're all trying to hit, is like, okay, do we do this or that? And the other thing is, like you were mentioning, affordability and being comfortable, right? It is so hard because we see this as a great opportunity for our client. Like, oh my gosh, this is a slam dunk. You should not pass this up. But there are days where, like, I was showing homes this weekend, and they were kind of getting antsy. They were looking at resale, and they're just like, man, this is just bottom of the barrel. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, right? But they're like, we're feeling nervous that we're not putting offers in. I'm like, do you love the house? Mom and dad were there, and I was like, just shoot it straight to me. You're going to live here. Can you live here for 10 years? And they're like, no. So I'm like, okay, this is the reason we're not putting an offer.
Yeah.
Why? Well, the bathroom is this way and this and that. I didn't like this. I didn't like them. I'm like, cool. Now let's go show you something that's not on the list. I did. And they went in and they were like,
bingo.
This is it. I'm willing to drive 15 extra minutes. And I was like, it's still in the area you want to be. You can still ride your bike or what have you. And they're like, well, I don't know if I can afford this. And when they saw their estimated payoff for what the builder had given us, they're like, is this a joke? Is taxes not on here? I'm like, no, that is your payment here.
That's the full monthly payment here with this new build after the incentives that they're providing.
Yep. And that poor lender is like, I can't match a $30,000 free finished basement. It was a 4.125% interest rate, 10,000 in concessions, move-in package for blind. Like, we asked for everything. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, let's get it done. So now they were nervous. They're like, oh, this is happening too quick. And I'm like, see, that's the double end of that that coin, is like, when it happens, it happens. Exactly.
Well, and that's the thing, specifically with new construction, it's really hard to navigate, which is why, and we'll get to this segment in a minute, but why having a representative like us is important, because we can help you snag the deals that the builder might get you to miss.
Right.
But the reason is these incentives, they change almost daily. Weekly for sure, but almost sometimes daily, depending on how things are going. If all of a sudden they have a surge of buyers through the door,
gone.
Okay, no, we're not doing fridges anymore, and the backyard's out of the question. Yeah. Or nothing you can do to change our minds.
The crazy part is they do price increases. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, we're in a market
going the
other way. Yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh, we did a $10,000 price increase. And I'm like, okay, let's start over again. You know what I mean? So
They change
it's
often.
insane. Yeah.
But if you catch them at that right time where they've got a house that's been sitting for too long, they need it off their books, you can get the rate buy down. You can get the closing cost
Big
credit.
time.
You can get the appliance package, the blinds, the window coverings. You can get the finished backyard, maybe even a finished basement. All of this stuff, I mean, that equates to tens of thousands, if not $100,000 worth of value so quickly.
Well, the biggest thing is you're going to get a peace of mind.
Yeah.
You're going to move in as long as you follow the basics of, like, when you get a car, change the oil, make sure the air's aired up in your tires, make sure you're just doing the basics of this home. And they give you, hey, here is a manual.
List.
95% of our clients, they see it, they get really excited, they throw it away. And then they're like, oh my gosh, there's this leak. I had a call at our fall festival. And he comes over and he's like, Ramen, I'm really excited. I had a leak under my sink. I was like, oh, that's a bummer. What happened? He's like, I think one of my kids threw something under there and it like loosened something. I'm like, it's okay. It's cool. I'm glad you caught it. But it's like, how do I maintain this? How do I maintain that? I'm like, do you use your book? And he's like, do you use your book? I'm like, oh yeah, like religiously. Like, I know what I have to do first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. That's why my neighbor who bought with me down the street, he's noticing that I have less issues with maintenance. Like, knock on wood, things change, right?
They do.
At the end of the day.
A house is a house.
But for 10 years, roughly 5 to 10 years, you're really, truly not going to have a lot of maintenance on it. I mean, the ungivens like hailstorms. Okay. No one has control over that. Okay. Are you really going to have a water heater that's going to go out on you in the first few years? Probably not. Yeah. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to do.
And if it does, guess what?
Yeah.
That thing's under warranty.
Yeah.
If there's, for some crazy reason, something got missed in the soil report, there's a foundation issue, or your furnace goes out, it's covered.
Yeah, that's exactly. And it's perfectly fine to have that fear of like, what if new things go? It's a man-made product. Like everything is going to. Yeah. But my biggest thing is like, how much does a furnace cost right now for a resale? How much would you do with a furnace and an AC unit?
Furnace and an AC unit is probably 15 to 20K right now.
Bam. That's it.
Yeah.
Then let's throw some windows on. How much is a window package for your whole entire
house?
Whole
new window? Like if you're buying a home that was built in the 80s and it needs new windows?
Early 90s, 80s, yeah. Let's say the panes are
50K?
Okay.
Maybe more.
That right there is $75,000, bud.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? Do our consumers have 80 grand laying around? No, they're going to go get like
and then the roof too.
And a roof.
Where you get a hailstorm this winter, or sorry, this spring, and it shreds your roof.
Big time.
Deductibles are wild right now.
Yeah.
Just talked about that. Yeah.
And we haven't even touched the whole, I want to remodel my kitchen and get granite and quartz.
Cosmetic things. The fun things.
The fun thing.
This is just the homeownership things.
Right. Yeah. Well, then that consumer also is like, what did my agent sell me? Did I just get conned out of this? Like I've had more relations come in from, my realtor sold me this. I'm like, I don't think your realtor sold you anything. You bought it because that is what you wanted. So guidance is important. So when we're going through homes, is not talking down about anything. It's listening to what they want. So if they're like, I want a kitchen that's like this, and this kitchen doesn't have it, I'm like, okay, are you ready for a remodel? But we still have to focus on the major mechanics on this. Like, keep that in mind. That adds up. It adds up.
We're not only talking about deferred maintenance items, the not fun things, the furnace and the roof and the whatever, the siding, but now you got to do the fun things, and those aren't cheap.
Well, let's say you had a client. I was your client. I bought it 2 years ago, and I knew I had to do all this stuff, and I call you today to sell my home. Where am I at with the process? How hard is it going to be?
It's going to be tough. You bought 2 years ago, 2023. You bought.
Let's say even 3 years ago. Let's say I bought it 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And I bought a home that needed work, and I did everything to maintain it, and I'm now have a fully maintained home.
Good. Yeah.
Needs a little love. It needs new carpet, some paint, kitchen, bathroom. Now I'm telling you, hey, I bought it for $6,000. I want to get $650. Is that realistic in a market that's selling for
right now? We alluded to it at the beginning. The homes that are selling for top dollar and are not sitting on the market for weeks or months are the ones that are turnkey.
Big time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And turnkey doesn't just mean the furnace is in good shape.
Get in the door.
Yeah. Right. The turnkey is not just the cosmetics, and it's not just the deferred maintenance. That is a home that's been treated well and in good shape. Those are the ones from the roof down to the foundation.
Everything.
From the kitchen to the master bathroom. That's what turnkey is. So those are the ones, if you have to sell and you haven't owned it for that long, those are the ones where I might not have to have that hard conversation of, hey, we're not at where you bought it at right now.
And it's tough, then you're upside down. So
it's tough.
It's an awkward place to be. And new constructions, there's pros and cons to it too. When you go buy something, you've got to hold on to it. If you bought something 1.5 years ago, it's probably going to sell for what you bought it for or under if new construction is still competing. because that consumer can go buy that same exact house, lower rates, or get a better incentive. Yeah, you got a great deal, but that resale aspect of it is no longer a great deal for the consumer. Does that make sense?
That's a good point. And that's one of the hardest neighborhoods and the hardest cities right now that I have people trying to sell in. Crystal Valley, for example, and in Castle Rock, there's so much new build competition with so much resale competition. The inventory is just so vast, so significantly higher than any other neighborhood in the town,
right?
That it's really hard for people to move. But again, it's a long-term hold. You buy and you hold on, and you don't try to sell right away, and you keep it for 5, 10, 15 years, you're going to be in good shape.
You're going to be in great shape.
Great shape. And by that point, your stuff, now your water heater's past its average lifespan, and your furnaces and your AC too, but you haven't had to do any real maintenance things at this point. Then you sell.
You sell. Yeah. And then you also gain that, that norm of 1% to 2% we're talking about in the meeting today, and everyone's used to the 17% that we've gotten. And it's like, that was a shock for us. Like I got in 2009 and the market was like, you can't give anything away. It's like, hey, if you buy this, I'll give you this, like get another house for free. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Buy one, get one, right? And now it's like, we went from that to an extreme market. It's like, we're slowly getting realistic again. And I'm waiting for that 1% to 2%, where it's a normal feel. And then you will start seeing appreciation take over. And it'll be a good one.
Just has to balance out. We're in a correction phase. I think you used that word earlier. It's just a correction market right now. But if you whether you buy resale or buy new, I think you're in a good position if you see that you're going to be there for a good handful of years.
Big time.
So I guess one segment that I really want to talk about is why having a realtor to represent you during a new home purchase, a new construction home, is essential.
Big time.
I can't tell you how many times I had a crazy buyer that I worked with when I first got in the industry, and I signed an agreement with him to be his exclusive realtor. And he literally said, I want you to put a provision in there that you will not represent me on any new home purchases. I'm only using you for resale. And if I want to go look at builders, I'll go look at them, but I will not have you be a part of it. I was like, I was new, so I didn't know anything better, but he's like, I just don't feel like you add any value on the resale because they've got a builder rep. And I was like literally a couple months in the industry. So I didn't, it's like, hey, I'd rather have an agreement with you than not. So sure.
Yeah, you're coming from a place of contribution. You're trying to help.
Yeah, trying to help. And I didn't want to ruffle feathers or anything, but I firmly disagree, and I'm sure you do too, firmly disagree with that. Realtors can provide a ton of value and save you tens of thousands of dollars on the purchase of a new home.
And as realtors, or I should say as buyer agents, we also have to go earn it. So the mindset that I've gotten into from other perspectives, I should say, is new builds are easy. And I ask some agents, do you go to walkthroughs? No. Did you go to the blue tape? No. Do home orientation? No. I let the builder handle it. So I'm like, okay, so you are literally handing. And the perspective I put it at is you're putting your client in the dark without a flashlight, and they have control for everything. Okay. So unfortunate for that buyer that was like, hey, I don't want you to represent me. There's also a mindset that if I go in by myself, I will get a better deal. Okay. I've had personal situations where they don't want to use me. There's family, friends, whatever it is. And they go buy this house, and it's a great home. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a great option and great opportunity. But the things that they didn't understand during that process is now bothering them. They're going through some pain thresholds. A great example is I had a friend that purchased a home. I was like, congrats, that's amazing. And then I sold the same exact home backing to open space now. 3-car garage instead of 2, and a finished basement for 50 grand under. Now, mind you not, I am not going to go rub that in his face, right? But the reality is,
you see it, and it's important that we say that so that people can see, look what you look what you might miss out on.
Big time. And it was like, he's like, I got a great deal. I mean, he did okay. He didn't get a great deal, but
it doesn't sound like it.
And he's like, well, I didn't bring a realtor, so they got more money off. And I'm like, they brought me. They got it for less than you, and they got all this. And mind you not, you're in an irrigation ditch. It's in a floodplain. Like I would have educated them.
Your insurance costs are going to be substantially higher because of your lot location compared to anyone around you.
Everything. It's like I joke with my clients. I have a ball in my truck that's inflated. Okay, I inflate it up, and they're like, "What are you doing?" When it's a dirt lot, I literally go, and I just sit there and I watch it roll down. So I'm like, "Where's the ball going?" They're like, "It's going down." So I'm like, "Where's the high points?" They're like, "It's up here." Why are you telling us this? And I'm like, "The lot you picked." Okay. I want to come back tomorrow. It's going to be raining. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
There's nothing against those lots. They're all great lots. They all have views. They have everything. But I've noticed that water level was so high.
Check that out. Yeah.
So they knew the neighbors that bought this home, for example. And they're like, dude, our sump pump goes off every 15 minutes, even when it's not raining.
Yep.
And they were annoyed, right?
Yeah.
And that's because the water table. Whereas their house, the pit's dry.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're
Never seen
happy.
any water in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you learn a few things, especially when you first get in. We didn't know. Let's be real. I bought homes. I had a realtor. I trusted them to explain things to me. I didn't know some of the things, right? Like I bought certain things that I shouldn't have bought.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. So now it's like when I go through, I don't even take them to the sales center. They get in my truck. We go directly to where we're going. I already know the models.
Yep.
I already know what's being offered, what's going to get released, what's happening, when it's happening. It's annoying because they see my red truck and they're like, Noodles is here. Love the Noodles, right?
Yeah.
They're like, Noodles, dang it, Noodles is here. So, but the reality is they know that it's going to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
And they're like, that realtor is going to get it done and they're going to do a good job. Fun fact, several of the new build individuals that work for the sales center used me to go purchase their new builds. Imagine that.
There you go. Check that out.
They're like, you're a pit bull. And I was like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? They're like, you don't take crap from anyone.
You will keep the builders held to a high standard.
Absolutely.
To the highest of
Big
standards.
time. So
That's
it
great.
is
That's what you
incredibly
want.
important. Yeah. You got to be able to have them understand the contract.
Yeah.
Most people will be like, yeah, present it. Let me know when you're ready and we're done. Just send me my check. That's a really crappy mentality.
That is terrible.
Second, if they're saying that we don't need you to go represent us, I've heard this actually pretty recently as well. They're giving me a better deal without a realtor. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Cool. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. Okay. I will promise you this. We will do a follow-up for this. I guarantee they're going to call me in a few months. That deal is not going to pass. Bottom line. Okay. You see things when you do this enough, right? So, but the reality is you're negotiating. Now, let's say you don't have a real estate agent protecting you. You got in that agent that's working for the seller, the sales agent. Their job is to do what?
Represent the person that pays their check.
And get contracts.
Yeah.
Because their team is like up to them on like, hey, did you write a deal? How many homes did you sell? You didn't hit our quota. This person's like gonna, you know what I mean? Like, so they're dealing with pressure. They're not dealing with what you want.
What do you want? What do you need? What's important to you? Let's just get this contract signed. What's it going to take?
And there's a lot of that happening in our industry. You gotta just understand. And the consumer goes in and it's like shining lights, rose glasses. You're all excited. And then you're getting in and you're like, oh, this is nerve wracking. Then the lender reaches out. Oh, you have to use their preferred lender to get these deals. Well, what does that mean? What are they offering you?
Yeah.
What does that look like? So before you go in, wouldn't it be nice to know what you're working with already?
Yeah.
And not like getting like, oh, I have to do this now. The other thing is you learn a lot that I'm not a lender, you're not a lender. But guess what? We've seen a few files where you can tell something's not going right.
Something's not right.
Now imagine they don't have our representation. They're in the dark. They don't do this. They don't sell houses. They don't work with lenders every day. They have their 9 to 5. They do things that we don't understand that they do, right? A doctor's a doctor. I'm not a doctor, right? So, and then it's like, how do you help them? Dustin, many years ago when I met him, I had files that were like impossible. They're like, it's not going to close.
Yeah.
But I was so involved that it got to the finish line. How it got there, what we had to go through was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But that's
you got it.
But that was a client for life.
And you helped that client get the home through a scenario. I'm dealing with one of those right now where it's like, this is a scenario where this should not happen. There are so many hurdles to get through that there should be no way for you to qualify to buy this house, but we're making it happen.
We're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out. We're getting as creative as we could possibly get, pulling out all the stops and getting it to the closing table.
100%.
And I think that's something that people forget about the realtor. The realtor or the buyer's agent involved acts as like a beautiful middleman or a middle person between the builder rep and the lender and the consumer and the property insurance. There's so many hats we wear. We are the person that is in the middle, following up with every individual, every contractor, everything that needs to happen to get this to the closing table.
Well, we deliver both good and bad news.
Yeah.
And it's the unfortunate part. We take the beating of it too.
Yeah.
There are days where I call my clients, even on resale stuff. I'm like, hey, you want the good news or bad news? No, I don't want to say it like that, but it's like, hey, we're getting through. We now have a problem. Let's solve it. Okay.
Yep. And I've already thought of a couple of things that we need to do that we can get through this.
Big time.
Let's do it.
Let's walk through it. And at the end of the day, I give them the option to want to do it. I've noticed that some of our professionals that do a lot of new builds too, they are just like, we're doing this. Do they want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like the big thing. And it's like, okay, let's hear where they're coming from.
Right.
And there are situations and days where you're upside down on certain things. Someone loses a job.
Yeah.
Builders' contracts are so tight. They're designed to help them succeed, not us. So now the other thing I will say is when it comes to new construction, there's a bunch of sales agents here. Okay. Yeah. They were actually, some of them are retired real estate agents.
Many. It's almost every time I'm meeting a new builder sales rep, it's like, oh, I used to be a realtor just like you.
In 2022. And it's like, oh,
you washed out.
But I don't want to say it like that, but okay. But the reality is they don't have the experience that we have to now work with them on. We got to problem solve. Okay. At the end of the day, it's not about a paycheck. That's the one thing when I got into real estate was I wanted to help people.
Yep.
And my backstory of it is I have an engineering background. My mom worked for Ball. I was going to go work for Ball. That's it. That's our thing. My whole parents' family side of things are all engineers, doctors. We had bought homes reliant on going to a sales agent without representation. Agent's like, oh, it's going to do great. We bought it. We bought two. I bought one. My dad bought one. Guess what happened in 2009? Market just crashed. It died. It destroyed us. I couldn't even rent it. Okay. So I sat there and I finally called my realtor. I was like, can you come? She wouldn't pick up her phone. That's when I got my license. I got my license to go sell my own home. How sad is that? Yeah. That was such a bad market. Okay. And then through that process, I learned a lot. Man, you're going to make more mistakes because you don't know. Now imagine what a consumer is going through.
Yeah.
When they're like, I will write a check for $30,000 just to dump this house. That is crazy, right?
Saw that the other day. Yeah.
So, and then you got new builds and that person's gone. So the reality is you make relations with new constructions. I have my go-to people.
Yep.
And they're 100%. Fantastic. I call them and I'm like, hey, what do you got for me?
And I know, and sometimes I know that you're not at this location, but I know you're going to treat us so well. Would you meet us from Parker and Castle Rock today? Because I know that you are going to take better care of us than the random person I'm about to be if we walk in that sales door.
Big time. And that's the one thing I struggle with this sometimes too, because let's just be real. When you're looking for something as a consumer, you're going to want to go do your own research. How do you know that I'm doing the right thing, doing you right by anything, right? So I now teach my clients, like, listen, when you go in, the first person you go see there, it's a commission-based job. You are now going to work with that person. I may or may not know them. I don't know how they work. I don't know how they function. I don't know if they're going to be able to problem solve like we do.
Yep.
Please, if you're going, just let me know. And I can let the other person that I want you to meet this person. I'm like, you don't even need me there. I trust you. Like, go
take a look at some stuff on something.
I'll
be in church, but you go take a look.
And I'm like, and it's a poker game. I know this sounds silly, but I'm like, if you love it, don't be like,
don't tell them.
Don't say anything. Just be like, yeah, cool.
Going back to that, this is something that people forget, and they see, oh, this builder rep, this fellow that I met today at Richmond with the name tag. People visualize them as a realtor that's going to represent them and their needs. This person, these individuals, they are employees of Toll Brothers or Richmond or Mariners. They're employees.
And
they have a job to do, and they have numbers to hit, and they are not associated. They don't get necessarily paid more or better if they make you super, super happy. They get paid, or if they represent you to the best of their ability. They get paid on the fact that they are doing their job and selling homes.
Big time. Their job
is represent the builder.
Exactly.
They're the seller's agent. They're not the buyer's agent.
Just like on a resale, let's flip it. Resale, you're protecting your seller, I'm protecting my buyer. It is the same thing.
It's a very good example, actually.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Now,
the builder rep that you meet when you walk in the sales door is just as if you met the listing agent at the property, and they might smile and shake your hand, but in the back of their head, they're like, we're going to.
It's like you come into my open house. My seller's home.
Yep.
I'm the seller's agent. You're a buyer coming in, right? My biggest thing is I like working with professionals that have an agent on the other end. Why? Because guess what? It gets the job done. When we have hurdles, we communicate. Those are what we call good opportunities. And no real estate transaction is the same. I don't care if it's new build or resale. They're all going to have problems. Okay. It's how we're going to be able to get through it. 95% of the time, my clients don't even know that there's a problem because I'm already putting it out.
Figured it out. Yeah.
We got it. That's what we got to do. Okay. And if there are agents that are out there going, new builds are easy, I don't do this, that's crazy. Because when we start talking about horror stories, I'll tell you. Okay. And we end up sometimes becoming the bad guy. But we are protecting
Which is because we have the fiduciary duty to
protect your client.
To protect the client. And sometimes it's not happy news.
Yeah.
And I guess I should clarify, just you don't want to just go out and get any run-of-the-mill agent out there to help you with your new home purchase, because that's why there's a bad rap. That's why people think they can get away with it'll be fine if they just don't have representation on a new build section, because it's true. Yeah. Some will go and they'll sign the contract and be like, cool, I'm locked in. I'm getting paid no matter what happens here as long as this closes. I'm not going to go to the walkthrough. I'm not going to go to the blue tape. I'm not going to go to closing. I don't need to. Yeah. They're in the builder's hands. I'm getting paid no matter what. Yeah. That is wrong. And there are agents that do that. You want someone 100%. Who knows what they're doing and will be there. When I show up, so the blue tape walkthrough, that typically happens about a week before closing, maybe 2 weeks before closing, depending on the builder. And that's where you kind of go with the superintendent or a construction manager and walk the home, and you tape up anything that you see is wrong, defected, paint touch-ups that need to be done, drywall touch-ups, all sorts of things, or bigger things if you see them. I literally, sometimes the manager will say, you just point and I'll go put the tape there. I say, no, I want my own.
You physically want
I want my own, because I'm going to go and I'm going to point out things that I see, because I am here and I am another set of eyes and I'm a big professional.
And guess what? We're still going to miss things.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The sunlight's different. So my one thing is, I'm going to ask you this. Do you just go to the blue tape day?
I go to every appointment that there is.
So I'm going to give you one big throw a ball your way kind of thing.
Yeah.
We don't go do the walkthrough on blue tape day. I go the weekend before. And we spend, you're going to spend 4 hours as the builder is going to give you their spiel. This is your buyer's time. You don't need to be involved, because it's just like when you go in, they're scripted to be like, so what's important to you? What are you looking for? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What's your qualifications? It's like when you go buy a car, that person that comes in that wants to, they already have you. Oh, you have a trade-in? Cool. I don't say anything. I'm like, hey, I'm just looking. See ya. I'll come get you. But the reality is, you got to be to that point where you understand. So I've had scenarios where we go through, we make our notes, we take pictures. I know this sounds silly. I'm literally, when we're at, so it depends on what phase you're at in the construction process. And we'll get to some of the horror stories, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes some of these homes are done. You never get to see how the foundations got put in, how the drywalls went in next to what we call the pre-drywall walkthrough, the 2x4s, nothing. You don't get to see any of that, right? It's a done product.
Yeah, quick moving.
It's like, cool. Now we got to figure out what is that got done correctly. It was done correctly. Some of these builders, they're moving quick, because guess what? Supply and demand, costs are going up. So if they have a team that can knock it out right now and it's cheaper to do it, they're going to put these homes up very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. And that sometimes concerns the consumer too. When you see a house go up in 180 days, 6 months.
It's fast.
Back in 2009 and 10, we would see a foundation. It'd be 90 days. Okay. Then you see frame. It's usually a year that we used to see a home get complete. Smaller homes, obviously a little less. But I'm seeing these massive properties go up very quickly.
What could have been missed in that phase?
And that's unfortunate. I'm not going to be able to catch every little thing. So inspections are important. That individual that's on the sales side, they're going to sit there. They're not going to come do the walkthrough. They'll come visit you and be like, hey, good luck, have fun. You put a piece of blue tape up. It's hard. So the next question that comes to it is, do we get an inspection beforehand? Yeah, inspections are expensive. I'm just going to be really brutally honest with you. And sometimes buyers don't have it. So I'm like, hey, this is when I feel comfortable telling my buyer this. That's a pretty good gut feeling that the home is built pretty well, but I'm not an inspector. But you have two options. You can either do it after you move in. And I usually say, hey, you now have to have a house that goes through a hot season, cool season, a fall season, and a spring season. It's going to breathe. Okay. It's going to have its normal things that it's going to go through. Let's say you do the inspection 1 week before closing. Your inspector goes out and catches all the stuff. Fantastic. I love it. Okay. What's going to happen after you move in?
If the house is going to sell,
you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
100%. And I think it's worth setting that expectation. You may pay for an inspector twice.
Yeah. Which I think is good, especially because most builders nowadays are saying, hey, we're going to do a final walkthrough. We're going to close on the home. And then we're going to do another walkthrough 11 months in after you've owned the home. And we're going to help do a little bit more touch-ups and help with anything. So at that point, get the inspector out there before that 11-month walkthrough, because you're still under the first 12-month warranty.
Big time.
Where the builder is actually obligated and will do cosmetic things and things that have settled and cracks and this and that. They'll take care of it. So do you want to rely on your own two set of eyes to do that? Or do you want to maybe spend the $500 to $800 or whatever it is to verify with a professional who does this every day and show you, oh yeah, here's some things that I saw that you couldn't have seen. I took thermal cameras on the ceiling.
And they may still somehow miss something that happened. Like I saw our Marshall Fire home.
Yeah.
We had an inspection done. So I got an inspector out there and I was like, you do this all the time. You don't need someone. I'm like, nope, I'm going to get a second pair of eyes.
Yep.
I actually got it inspected twice.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pardon my horror story, nothing against who was the builder on it. We just had a really sour taste for a guy who does new construction. It was the most awful experience I've ever been through. And it was my mom's home, not mine. My other one was fine. That one was like cake. But the reality is, like, you're still going to catch things as you go in. So as I moved into my new place, I was learning a lot.
Yeah.
Like little things. Like I noticed this was not right. That was not right. And I sit there in my room and I look up and I was like, that's annoying. They forgot to texture that. But that's little things. But the big things are before you write, and I don't know how it is with your experiences, but most builders will be like, hey, before the actual day we're done with blue tape, that's yours now. Appliances, if there's a dent or a scratch or things aren't working, now you got to deal with the third party. So that's where it gets to be like, let's go test this stuff out. So I go a week in advance and I make sure the water's running. And, you know, they don't want us in there sometimes. So Sundays are a great time to go because guess what? Trades are gone. Sales agents are like, is it 5 o'clock yet? I want to go home. It's Sunday. I'm tired. And I'm like, hey, let's spend an hour. Bring your notebook. And we're literally going to scale every single wall. And we're going to test every single door. We're going to open the windows. We're going to take the windows out. We're going to show you how to do. Because like when your time comes with them, that 4 hours is going to go so quick. You're not going to remember half the things, yet alone things that they should be explaining to you. They're not explaining it.
And the time that you spend, even if it's going to take hours of extra time on the buyer's end, our end is their representation. The time spent and the money spent on getting a third-party inspector out there is going to be the best money spent and the best time spent because you're going to either A, have the peace of mind knowing that you have looked at every nook and cranny and you have spent the money for a professional to do the same and it is good to go.
Good to go.
Tons of peace of mind. Or that inspector or us as we go there, you know, the week before, whatever it is, and take extra time in there by ourselves to catch anything. But particularly the money spent with the inspector is going to be paid.
Yeah.
When they find a couple of items that was missed, it pays for itself. 3 months after you own the home, crap, we didn't notice that this and this and this was done. This window was screwed up. Now it's on you.
And then you got to go.
Now it's going to cost you more than $500 than the inspection would have cost.
Or a very long time. Because right now, before the builder releases the keys over to you, the trades are ready to go.
Yeah.
Once it closes, it's like now you got to go through the warranty process or department. And sometimes builders do pushback. I had a scenario. This is a very nice couple, okay? And they're going through the process of purchasing their home. And it's his first new construction. And I'm not going to use names, but the reality is we went in, we went through the whole home. We spent hours going through it. And it felt like they just took the tape off.
Yep.
And luckily I had my phone and my photos and my notes. I keep my own notes and my photos. And that's why it's so important for realtors to go there. Is if you're not there, how does a consumer know? And they don't care. They just want to get it done and get to the next house.
Yeah, they've got so many other things to think about.
So many other things to do. And it got to a point where I'm like, we're not going to close on this house. Well, you're going to lose your deposit. I'm like, that's your attitude?
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a $100,000 home or $1 million house. This should be treated the right way. And I remember this where the construction manager came in hot. My client was like, you're a pretty cool guy. And I kept my composure. And the reality is he's like, you're ruining things for us. And I walked away. They turned the water on and flooded the whole house. And I was telling them, I caught something. And this is what happened on 4 of the homes that were under construction. Yeah. 1 was still going through it. We're there to make lives easier. And guess what? After all that fiasco, everything still got done.
Yep.
My clients just had to go through a stressful hour for no reason.
Yep.
But they were like, we're so glad you were there. Because can you imagine we moved in and this happened? I'm like, it happens all the time. So, and I also want to bring up one more thing. We truly, the agents that truly put in the effort, we do help you. We earn whatever it is that we're getting paid. We may not get, and everyone's like, oh, it's about money for you. No, it's not. We just want to make sure we earn your respect. The biggest compliment, what's that saying? The biggest compliment you can get is give me a referral. No, biggest compliment you can get is when you trust me so much that your mom's buying a place with me. That's huge. Or it's the other way around. Like referrals are great. We love referrals, but how nice is it when they come trust you? And it's like, they're ready to go. They're already pre-screened. They're like, this is what he's going to do.
Yeah.
This is what she's going to do. Boom. That's
care of us
amazing.
Handhold us through the whole process.
100%.
Hold the builder to a higher standard.
Yeah.
That's what this person does. You got to work with them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that recently where I helped an individual buy a home down in Colorado Springs. It was a great Toll Brothers home in Kissing Candles. Awesome community. And not even a day after, he's like, hey, my dad's moving here. My dad's moving here from Florida, and he wants to buy a new home too. I told him, he's got to work with you because you took such good care of us.
Isn't that crazy how small the world is?
It is.
Yeah. I got a quick story to tell you. So I helped a client of mine. He's a good friend. We used to work with each other way back, college days. So he bought and sold a couple homes with me, and he goes, hey, my significant other's dad's moving back. So it's like, cool. So I meet him, same thing. He's like, wow, this guy's got his stuff together. Let's do it. We're sitting there, and he's like, hey, you remind me of someone. I was like, oh, okay. It was so crazy how small this world is. My mom and him used to work together.
Yeah.
40 years ago.
Like
what a weird but small world we live in.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, this is, and then the amount of referrals you get from that. It's like, it's cool, right? Like, you get to meet more people. It's just, it's a community at that point. It is. Right.
And that's what it's about. It's not about just cashing in checks. There are realtors out there that are kind of sharky, and they're trying to just.
And you and I will make mistakes. Bottom line is, we learn from our mistakes. I am not saying that I have seen some days, but it's like when that moment is there, when you're with your client, they understand that you're working for their intentions the best way possible. And if you don't have an answer, be like, hey, hang on, I'm gonna go get it for you. Let's figure this out. That's huge, right? So
100%. Yeah. So, hey, I think that ties things up really nicely with just the general new build information. This is incredibly valuable to anybody watching this. I hope they've answered a lot of questions. Huge information. Let's go ahead and wrap this up with the Houses of Horror segment.
I want you to go first.
Yeah,
Tell me your horror stories.
Yeah, and mine's one of those horror stories where, if done improperly, if the advice we gave here was not done, it could have caused a huge issue. So, but luckily it didn't, but it could have been. So my wife and I, like I said, we were buying our second home. We were moving out of Parker back into Castle Rock, and we found a great deal. It was November. It was a Meritage home. They were throwing in a lot of incentives. It was a fantastic deal we couldn't ignore in the area we wanted to be in. And so we go to buy it, and we were, obviously, I'm very firm on, we need a third-party inspection. Right. And the superintendent was like, why? We've already passed the city inspection. We've already passed the builder inspections. We've had these other inspections. Like, we flying green flags everywhere. We passed everything. We're good. And I was like, if there's anything I've learned, is that it can't hurt to get someone who's not associated to either of us, a third party to come out and take a look. And so I had my inspector come out. He came and took a look, and he's like, Landon, this house is in great shape. They've done a good job. Gave me the peace of mind. Boom. And he said, but there's one thing that they missed, and they did not ground the electric panel.
It's kind of a big deal.
And that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Anybody couldn't. And so, I mean, that could have been one of those things where this had gone through Castle Rock inspections. This had gone through their, Meritage home inspectors and things like that. But
those inspectors, they are not just inspecting your one house that day.
Yeah.
They're going through tens to hundreds of homes. And it's one usually inspector per that county, and that's it. That person that has they are fried. That is exactly it. So
they're going to miss stuff. They're humans.
Time.
So why not get another human out there just to overlap this and make sure we're good?
100%.
I mean, if there could have been a major electric issue in that house, there could have been, could have fried all of the electricity or something.
Worse, you touch the light switch, or you plug something in, you get electrocuted. That's huge.
Seriously, big deal. And so it was funny because I went to the superintendent and I said, hey, just so you know, everything's good on the inspection, but no grounding on the electric panel. He's like, has your inspector ever seen an electric panel before? He's crazy. And I was like, well, let's go walk over and see it. We walked over and he's like, I'll be darned.
Apparently you haven't seen an electrical panel.
I'll be darned. We missed it. We'll get that fixed for you right away. No problem. And so, again, a horror story because I imagine what could have happened and the dangers that could have been caused if we missed it. But luckily we took the right approaches.
And there's always a solution to every problem. Sometimes the solutions aren't the best, but you figure it out. You get creative, or you go find something else. It's simple as that. I've had clients where things just don't work out, and they're like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Listen, this is a sign. I don't know if you're into this, Landon, but I'm a big believer in when it's meant to happen, it's going to happen.
Yep.
And if things are getting in the way, it's
There's
probably a
always
sign that you should probably just take a step back.
I always say there's no such thing as coincidences.
Yeah,
And
big
there's
time.
a lot of coincidences popping up. It's maybe time to step back and
Let's reevaluate.
Yeah, reevaluate.
Well, one thing I want to say that we didn't touch bases on is earnest money. That's one thing I want to that just reminded me of
Yeah,
just kind of going back.
Yeah.
So our clients are putting down deposits, right?
Yeah.
Could be 5,000, could be 10,
Could
sometimes
be 2% of the price is what I just saw.
I've seen 150,000. That's a lot of money. That's their chunk of their down payment. Now, let's say that thing doesn't work out for them. They're out 150
Big
grand,
loss.
right?
Yeah.
And builders have contracts that are there to design to save them and protect them. Okay. So sometimes there's ways to negotiate that too. I have learned where I go to certain builders where they're like, okay, the deposit's $500. I'm like, dude, what do you have to lose? What's $500? Right. But that's still $500 of their hard-earned money. There's no one out there that's like, here's $500. Here's $5. No.
Yeah.
Everyone. Right.
Yeah.
So our job is to also protect that deposit.
Yes.
Okay. I have had situations where the builder in their contract specifically state that they will not get a refundable deposit. How many realtors do you know that actually get their money back for their clients?
On like the new sales?
A new build, yeah. And it's
Yeah, on
past their
resale
45
almost
days.
always, but on new builds it's
Hard.
a lot harder.
I've gotten it to a point where it was like a week before closing and got their deposit back.
Wow. Yeah.
So that shows you that person is also protecting. I can't guarantee it, but there's always this.
But I'm going to fight for it.
Exactly.
To tooth and nail to get this back for you.
And that's the reality, because they're not. And then I also say this when I go pivot towards them, I'm like, you're not in the business to keep deposits. You're in the business to sell houses. And when they hear that, they're like, okay, that's fair. We don't, you know what I mean? But in today's market, it's tough. You have 7 days to get qualified and the house is still being built in some cases. What happens in 6 months when you lose your job?
Yeah.
Don't you want your money back?
Yeah.
Or do you want to lose 25 grand? So that's things that we have to negotiate into the contract.
Yep.
And that's things that a consumer without a realtor is going to miss.
Appraisals too. They
too.
have very firm appraisal contingencies in there. Like, hey, if our home doesn't appraise, then
bring the cash.
You're bringing the cash.
And that's where we stand.
Very different than resale.
Right. If you're like Toll Brothers, I love them. I have one. It's a great product. But guess what? Everything you like in those homes is like nickel and diming up.
Yeah.
Nothing against it. I love it. But now let's say you bought a house. Everything else in the neighborhood's $1 million. And by the time you're done with Design Center, and they're like, oh, the normal is 15 to 20%. I laughed. I was like, well, I'm not going to spend $200,000 in design.
Yeah.
But the reality is the consumer is thinking that's normal.
Yes.
How sad is that?
Yeah.
And then they go do their thing. And then they're like, oh,
sold
man.
you like crazy.
Upsell, right?
Yeah.
So that's not their job, but nice things come with nice prices is all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a client that dumped in 400 grand in a house at design. And they're like, you have a one-time meeting. And I like pulled her aside. I was like, what are you doing?
Dial it down.
You are buying the most expensive home in the neighborhood. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, the last home that sold here was 80,000 over the base price.
Cool. And you just added 400.
What are you doing? You're setting the record for the neighborhood. And she's like, well, I like this. And I'm like, but do you need it?
Yeah.
And she like stepped back and I was like, why don't we reset this appointment? The design center was pissed that I did that because they're like, you're ruining our timeline. I'm like, I don't care.
No, we're not going to.
We're going to go have a talk. And they're like, it's a one-time thing. And we went back and they were so pissed that I went back in with her. I don't do design. I don't know how to color coordinate my house. I got lucky that I did okay. Everyone's like, you did this? I'm like, with help.
Yeah.
But I at least helped her go from that big portion to something that made sense.
Yeah.
And she was
and that
like,
wasn't going to take 50 years to appreciate to the value of it.
That was the big thing. So she learned a lot. Now she's on her second home. She's trying to buy a new home. Now she's like going in, knows what structural options to put in, what not to put in, what needs to go in, what doesn't, that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So I was going to show you real quick, and I wish I could show it on the camera, but this is how important it is for you to have representation.
Is this part of the horror story that you mentioned?
Yes,
about getting there.
We're going to jump to that. And it happened to me. It didn't even happen to my consumer. It happened to me. That was a lot of fun. So I am a big believer when they're digging. I'm excited. I like to go do photos when it's dirt.
Yeah.
You send them an update. Your clients are like, oh, this agent really is out on the field. Like he or she works this neighborhood. Like, wow, that feels really good. I'm one of those guys that likes to go out there. And I even request the sales associate. Guess what? They're earning a commission too. I was like, hey, I need you to send me an update. And they're like, no one's requested that from me. And I'm like,
timeline. Yeah.
well, I need you to let me know when this is happening. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And so we were pouring a foundation on our home, and I watched the weather, and the builders always say, hey, we pour all year round. I don't care. How does concrete do in really hot weather, Landon?
I can't imagine it does very well.
Cracks, right? It doesn't do so good. And how does it do in really cold weather?
No, yeah. Does it crack as well in cold weather? Actually,
so it depends, like what kind of pH levels are in the concrete, what they put in hardener wise. There's all kinds of it's chemistry that goes into this.
Yeah.
So yes, they do pour concrete in cold weather. They have to put hardener in,
but they've got to treat it different.
Big time. So my biggest guys that I worked with are concrete guys. They're fantastic. They have a really hard job. And in Colorado, concrete, it's going to get cold. It's going to get hard. It's going to crack. It's going to settle. We have interesting soils. But the reality is, like, I don't appreciate when certain builders are rushing to get they're doing 5 foundations. Okay.
We gotta
and then the weather's changing tomorrow. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, so when it came to my home, I'm not picky. Okay. I'm just like, hey, I know what's in tolerance. So we had a request put in. So in Colorado, it was April. How's weather in April? It's kind of
pretty spotty.
Spotty, right? So it's really nice, and then it's gone. I was flying out to Chicago.
Yeah.
The weather was 68 degrees. That's actually really good weather for concrete. It's not hot, it's not cold.
Yeah.
We had a cold front that came in, and it went to 21 degrees that evening, and they poured the foundation.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the first problem.
Yeah.
Second problem that I discovered is they ran out of concrete, Landon. So I'm going to show you this right here.
Yeah. And maybe we can pull this up.
But it's hard, but these are all cold.
Oh, dear.
Backfill.
So they ran out.
Right.
And they had to go and, okay.
So they did. So I documented everything. I was like, what the heck is this? And I'm like, I need to have an engineer's report on this.
Yeah.
Because isn't that what causes the house not to move? No, it's just totally fine and this and that. And then I was like, I called my engineer. I sent him that. And he's like, is that a buttress wall? And I'm like, I don't know. What's a buttress wall? Talk to me. Explain this to me. Let me learn from this. And it became a big deal for us. Okay. So we had pre-existing helical piers that got in.
Yeah.
Okay. My engineer was like, I would not accept that.
Yeah.
Now, how do you go back to a builder and say you messed up? 3 days later, I go back and these guys are clumping concrete onto the missing portion of it. Oh. I'm like, this is a joke, because when you backfill, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's going to break off and it's going to have issues. So it took me upwards of 6 months to fight with the builder. And I still had to pay out of pocket for this, but I wanted them to do it right. I made them rip it out and start over.
Wow.
Because I had no other choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
You knew that it was just
but this is the sad part.
Disaster coming.
Right. But this is the sad part. That same day, I drove through the neighborhood that had like 6 or other 8 foundations poured in, similar situation. That honeycombing concrete, and they were just, the consumers don't know.
Yep.
So it's important for us to communicate is the big thing. So usually when they're pouring foundations, I always like to have some kind of an update. So when we sit down with our new construction reps, this was a very one-off situation. This was a Marshall Fire home. We didn't have the same treatment that we usually get luxury-wise with our sales associates, okay? Because they actually organize how they're doing it. And if it's a bad day, they're going to hold off on it because they're smart. They're like, we can't do it, okay? So it's so important for us to be on top of that with them. We're not engineers. We don't know what we're looking at. They're pouring concrete, what the pH level is. Are they shaking it or whatever?
Yeah.
But when you're sitting down with the construction team, when I was talking to you about this originally, it comes down to the manager that's there.
Yeah.
They really do put the home together well.
Yeah. And the quality is dependent on their
big time. Huge
expertise. And
I've seen neighborhoods where it's a really great builder, just the manager just wasn't on his point. And it's like, you can tell walls are bowed. Like there's an inspector on Instagram that I follow. He's fantastic. He's out of Arizona. And he cracks me up. He's like, I can guarantee you this gas meter is leaking. And he just and it's like, it's leaking.
Yeah.
But I was like, can you come to Colorado?
Yeah.
Because that's all he does is new builds. And I was like, dude, get over here. I would you would do so well.
There's so much going on here. Yeah. So many things to see.
Yeah. But new builds, they're great. I still think I'm a big advocate on them. Yeah. Bottom line is I think resale's great too. It just comes down to what works for you.
What works for you? Where do you want to be?
Big time. And, if you're not in a position to buy a home right now because rates are tough and, just understand that you can get concessions on resale.
Yep.
But it's not going to be as much as you can get on a new
for sure.
and you will do good on a new build. You just got to wait 5 years, 5 to 10 years. 10 years, you're solid. Like, you're going to be happy. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I should have bought 2 of these.
Yeah. And like you said, if you can, try to buy at the beginning of the community or at the end.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end, what are they trying to do?
At the end, they're just trying to get, getting out. They need to go to their next community.
That's their big
my
bet.
heritage
They wanna
home.
get out.
Not only was it November, but it was the third to last home of the community.
They just want out because
They
they're
need to
like,
get
this
going.
is hard. We need to get going to the
All
other
of our
side.
resources have now moved from Castle Rock to Aurora. We have to drive 40 minutes, everybody, to get here every day. Like, we need to be done.
It costs money.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that.
It's all
And
about money.
new builds at the beginning, I will tell you this too, they're going to have growing pains. Okay. So if you see a neighborhood, the base prices are low. And if you're like, well, I'm going to finish this in a year, get ready. There's going to be delays, but
gonna be a lot.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
You just got to
take a few years for the construction noises in the morning and to get out of your
What's
system.
like the permitting, the city has their processes
Lots
and
going
they'll
on.
reject it. So the one thing I also forgot to mention is your home will fail. It's good for it to fail the inspection. You were mentioning that the city is like, oh, they're passing all these inspections. My foundation passed inspection. So I called that individual back and I was like, how'd you pass this? He's like, well, I didn't see that. Holy smokes. Like, that's not good. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
it's just sometimes they miss and they're like, oh, I've seen worse. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Tell me where that is.
So, no. But yeah, we're human at the end of the
That's
day.
everything. But if we can layer this transaction with another human, a buyer's agent, and another human, a third-party inspector, and get these people out there more times, you're just setting yourself up for better peace of mind and more success at the end.
Yep.
So,
And they're going to be happy too.
yeah. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So.
Cool. Anything else? You got any other
No,
questions?
I think that sums it up. But I appreciate you coming out, taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate the viewers watching this. If you made it this far, there were some good nuggets that we got, especially at the end that we dove into.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time, and we will catch you on the next one.
Well, all right, cool.
Really nice.
All right.
Really nice.
Thanks, man.
It's a good one because this is one that